Now is Utah Congressman Jason Chaffetz, member of the House Committee on Oversight and Government Reform. Good evening, Congressman.
Hi, Judge.
Today is December 30th, 3.5 months since the attack. We are still waiting for more information, and Hillary is scheduled to testify, but there are those who are saying that the new Secretary of State shouldn't be sworn in, and that is John Kerry, unless and until she testifies. Even he agrees with that. What say you?
Well, I think Senator Graham is making a very strong point that in order to get to the bottom of this, we need to have Secretary Clinton come testify before the Senate. We'd love to have her here in the House as well. Now, with her health problems, what we got to deal with is a very serious thing, and I hope she recovers quickly and swiftly, and it's not as severe as it sounds. Nevertheless, we still need to hear her testimony. And, you know, it's interesting. They did this Accountability Review Board. This was the excuse from the administration. We're not going to release any information, even though they did. For a period of nearly 75 days, they wanted to make sure the Accountability Review Board had time to prepare this analysis. Well, guess what, Judge? They never interviewed Secretary Clinton. I haven't heard anybody talk about that, but somehow they did this whole analysis and never talked to the Secretary. And then when they did do the...
Congressman, you know why that doesn't surprise me? I suspected that they had not, because they go through hoops thanking the FBI for cooperating with their investigation. Meanwhile, the FBI is one doing the investigation. So there was never any mention of the Secretary of State cooperating with them. But Congressman, I understand that there is a report, this is just released, that is due to be released tomorrow by the Senate Homeland Security and Government Affairs Committee. Are you familiar with that?
Yes, my understanding is they're scheduled to release that. I'll be interested to read it. I have not yet read it, but it'll be interesting to see what they did. But again, the House of Representatives, which is controlled the House is controlled by Republicans, I think we would probably give a different analysis of it. You can't just continue to ignore the Republicans in the House, the Oversight Committee specifically, Chairman Issa and others. I mean, we're going to be tenacious on this. We don't have the truth. We haven't even been given a list of the names of the people that were injured in that firefight. So we have not seen all these documents. Even though we haven't seen those, think about it this way. The Accountability Review Board goes in and does this 60-plus day analysis. They find more than 24 systemic problems and challenges within the administration. They offer nearly 60 different recommendations. What in the world was going on over there? I mean, it's not as if 1 or 2 or 3 things were going wrong over there. To have that many different recommendations, that many problems and challenges, is a mess over there.
Congressman, it's even worse than that, because the Accountability Review Board report from 1999 on the bombings in Kenya and Tanzania had a lot of the same recommendations that they didn't implement. The Inman standards were not implemented. You and I know that. But Congressman, I want to move on to another issue. This whole issue of there being at least 4 from the State Department who have resigned, and the latest that we're hearing is that's a little more doublespeak, that they haven't resigned, you know, including that Charlene Lamb, who was dead serious when she said we had the right number of assets in Benghazi, where 4 Americans were killed. Now we're hearing that these people are on the payroll still, and that they've just been moved around and they really have their jobs. What do you know about that?
It starts at the top of the food chain, where the president says, well, it was sloppiness and we shouldn't blame this person. And I've heard you say this yourself, Judge. They essentially blame nobody or blame everybody, so nobody specifically gets blamed except Ambassador Stevens. That's the only one that they point to is the victim here. We got to remember that it was an al-Qaeda terrorist attack. Okay, that's the genesis of it. But the protection, safety, and security of the U.S. personnel, we have hundreds of embassies and consulates, thousands of people serving overseas. You have this incredibly damning report, an internal report, not even an outside analysis. You have the president saying, oh, well, it was just sloppiness, is what his quote was today. Yes. That's just inexcusable.
Well, and I'm sure that the families of those who were killed would agree with you. Congressman Jason Chaffetz, thanks so much for being with us this evening.
Thanks, Judge.
All right.